My name is Jules MORETTI. I'm a graduate industrial designer. You've already seen a few of my colleagues at first. I'm going to talk to you today, and bear with me, something called like a system to help and maintain the traditions of Atitlan Atul and its surrounding. It's like Denise has spoken to you about. I'm going to talk to you about the background, what we saw, how the ecology came to be. Some of the things that we saw on site, very similar to Denise again, I'll go through that very quickly for you. And then how some other potential opportunity came by for this potential problem. So, Ecolink, Ecolink, here's a preview of what we saw very briefly on arrival. Beautiful sceneries, arrival to different towns, saw a lot of products, street shopping, beautiful crafted, handcrafted products. So again, many of them, like Denise saw. Then they tell you about it, how they individually make it on site, how the old traditions were done like hundreds of years ago, how these are products that are like 100 years old, how long they take to be made, some 2 months, maybe 6 months. And then we visited the organizations, and they showed us, their rooms, like their stocks, all the different weaves they use, and nicely packed in from God knows where, and mass of products that they've weaved themselves. And then, we went home. So, if I give you an observation summary, this is basically what we saw. We saw like some unique story, but then, we saw lots of the same stuff, confused, as we saw some of the same stuff in different towns. And so, we're like starting to see imitations, and we're having a lot of doubts. And again, we went home confused. So, a potential opportunity here is Ecolink. And again, I'm going to say to what my first description of Ecolink is, just to get that in mind very clearly. It's a system that helps maintain and recover traditions of Atitlan, Azul, and surrounding. Now the complicated part. Okay, bear with me even more on that one. So here's Ecolink in the middle, run by Atitlan, who's an NGO around Atitlan Azul. And they will have access to raw materials producers locally that are fair trade. Fair trade meaning that they are ecologically sound, culturally sound, and many other criteria. So they get the materials from these organizations, locals. Then you have on the other hand weavers. For example, here I've used Rama Textile as an example. Now, these weavers are also connected to Ecolink. They have access to them, and Atitlan knows them, goes and sees them, talks to them, and helps them out. They've been doing that in the past. They've been giving them funds. They've been giving them also raw material for their own productions. Now, Atitlan gives them, through Ecolink, gives them raw material, fair trade. But what's the added value of doing that? How can this really benefit, the situation of Atitlan Azul? This is where we introduced RFIDs. RFIDs that are, of course, branded Ecolink and Ecolink certified. RFIDs is basically a barcode, but better. Right now, it's being used everywhere and in passports, in many, many industries, and we can assume that it's going to be used all over very, very fast. Hence why we should use it right now. Now these tags are bought by Atitlan through Ecolink, the brand Ecolink, and given to the weavers every time they buy raw material. Because it's a branding that shows what their produce are going to be made out of is fair trade. As you see, there's 3 different colors in the back end to show the level of fair trade their products are going to be. Now, you have a tourist that comes and sees Rama Textile. They come and visit, and they do their talk, their explanation of what they do. and talk about these RFIDs and how this helps. And they buy a product. Here's some dough with an RFID tag attached to the base. Now this RFID tag is something that they can go online right now and look up the serial number from the website, which is ecolink.com, which is clearly labeled on the tag, and then go up and read up information about Tama Textiles. But not only Tama Textiles, they have access to the raw materials company. So they get to learn a bit more about not just the product, but how the product was made and where from. So they really get like all the insight about this product. So it's completely transparent. So I'm going to give you a little roadmap of how this could happen, because this is not I don't think this is a process that can be made like in 6 months. This is something that will take a fair amount of time to roll out. So the first phase would be, of course, to create this database where all these RFID would be located into. And then create like a web interface for Ecolink to put all these informations. And then the phase 2 would be to get the contacts of the raw materials company, get some of their information, where they are, like their history, who they are, who are part of the team, and then start to tell the association about this project. Then the phase 3 is to build up this database even more by adding the association's contacts. Then phase 4 is to start the distribution of the raw materials with the RFIDs to the association. And the last phase, of course, is to monitor all that. So you can now find out who's doing well, who's not, why, and really monitor where this is going, and even which countries are looking this up. So, in conclusion, how did this help from a culture standpoint? Well, promote traditional manufacture on site because of the brand. Educate customers wherever they are, because they always have access to this resource online or even on site, because they got told by Ecolink to the organization what this is about, so they know they can get told on site and online. How does it help the commerce? Well, it provides true value to goods, but it also increases microeconomy. Because being part of fair trade means that all the products that the raw materials are given to these associations are local. So all the money goes back to their pocket. No importation or reduced importation, so maximize profit. Now, for the environment, because it's fair trade, it's greener and it promotes ecotourism. You're starting some sort of competition. So, thank you for having listened. I hope this wasn't too confusing. That was Ecolink.